Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, and today we have a special guest. Some people know him as the Gun Show. Some people know him as a passionate Latin gentleman. Some people know him as used to have a modeling of short shorts outside in some kind of area that he used to have on his gallery. I'm forgetting where it was exactly, but he was stunting.
How did you know about that?
But it's your boy Gunz. It's your boy Gunz. What up, bro?
What's up? What's up? Appreciate you having me, bro.
How do I know this? I know this because at one point in time, you remember when I was doing those gallery? I was doing like those top player gallery videos, and I was like showing off people from the community, like some of the top players in certain kingdoms.
Oh my god, I had that on there, huh?
You did, and yeah. And the funny thing about
before I got banned. That was before I got banned the first time.
Yeah. So the funny story here about that is I was in the middle of doing my next like top player gallery one, and I had you in there, but I had to delay it or something. I had to like do a re-recording, and I had lost some time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it the next day. And when I went back to check, they were gone. So I didn't get to see you I didn't get to see you after leg day in all your glory. However, we are here for a lot of reasons. Number one, and I think most importantly, we need to get the elephant in the room out of the way, which is that you have become affectionately the people's champ.
Affectionately.
You are, I mean, we could say centrally, depending on how, deep we want to go here. But honestly, there is, I think, when we think about, it's almost like, it's like, that person, it's like you live in a small town and someone from your small town makes it. And they get some notoriety, and you're like, man, okay, dude, they made it from the town. Like, we are on the map now, right? It's almost kind of like what's the car's name in Cars, right? He like tries to like put Radiator Springs on the map. I'm forgetting.
Lightning McQueen.
Yes, thank you, Lightning McQueen. Yeah, you're like kind of like that putting Radiator Springs on the map for the community. However, you have officially become a partner for CallofDragons, and the third partner for CallofDragons. That deserves
a shot.
Well, a clap.
Oh, well, we're on YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah. If I had some sangria, I would do a shot of sangria for you. But this is I guess initially I want to ask. I just want to get some of your initial reactions because there's a lot that I want to ask and I want to talk about. There's some other stuff too that we'll get to outside of that. But now that you are a partner, is it everything you were hoping it was going to be? Is it more? Is it a little bit less? What are your impressions right now that you've had kind of a couple days to soak it in?
I'll be honest, dude. Like after not getting it like several times in a row, when they told me that I made
partner all the time on every stream.
Yeah. It was funny. Octodone actually made like a little side joke. She was like, "You could end your road to partner now." I was like, they were watching the road to partner. But when they first told me that I was partner, dude, it was very surreal. I was like, "There's no way." Like, I honestly was like, maybe it's like a 2-year mark kind of thing. Like they want a 2-year commitment before anyone gets partner, regardless of how, you're doing within the rankings of content creators with viewership and everything like that. And it's just like, it was just very surreal. But I'll be honest, for me mentally, not much has changed. And I think that's because I kind of like had to mold a specific mindset, because I think I've spoken to you before, even off camera, where like at some point I was kind of going down the mental drain. Like every time I didn't make partner, I part of me felt like quitting, and so I essentially had to like put aside like the whole goal of getting partner and kind of reeling it back to the roots of why I'm doing it in the first place, which is I love CallofDragons. So as far as my mindset goes, nothing much has changed, bro. It's just another day.
Another day. So it's interesting you talk about that, because and again, we've had some conversations and some candid, and I don't know if you've ever been that forthcoming or if maybe that particular topic had came up when we were in discussing and conversating about, kind of our experiences. But to know that you were really drained to that extent where you were really considering, like, man, I might just walk away, not do, maybe even if it's just part-time or just stopping. I mean, that's kind of like going from a hero to zero, like just 180 at that point. What did you feel, I guess, at that time? Because I guess I can understand. Like for me, if I look at it for myself, making partner would be great. But at the same time, I guess for me, it's always just kind of similar to what you just said, right? For me, it's always just kind of been about enjoying the journey. I've always been passionate about the content that I put out, just like I would imagine every creator is, right? For any particular content or maybe all the content that they put out. But was it ever a point with you where you felt, all right, man, if I don't get it on this next re up, just deuces? Like, just hold it. I'm out. And by hold it, you know what I mean. Downstairs, not upstairs. And okay, we're Audi 500 over here. Where like I guess where were you when it came to kind of like the fuse you felt like being, dried up?
I want to say I can't remember exactly how long ago it was. I want to say it was like 4 or 5 months ago,
Okay.
where I was kind of like at this like crossroad. It was like, all right, dude, if I don't get partner, because as you know, you're a family man yourself, so it's just like, dude, like if I don't get partner, like I need to just go back to getting a full-time job and
Hmm.
yada yada yada. So it's like all the pressure was there. Um, but at the same time, majority of my channel success is my streaming, right? So partner and everything else would just be a plus. So yeah, I mean, like I said, that like that's when I was at that crossroad, bro, and I had to just really back to the roots because and I know that you said like other content creators kind of do it for the passion, and I would say yes and no, because not to put anyone on blast that has been here in the CallofDragons community of content creation, but uh, but a lot of people were, they're kind of in it for the money, bro. Like they see other people having success, or they hear X person is partner, and they're like, oh, I need to do it too. And it's like as soon as they don't get that, they dip, and then that just and it's like the difference between loving something, like actually loving the game, and then kind of being lustful.
Hmm.
Whereas, like, for you, the entire community knows you love your data stuff. So we've even made some comments about that you dream about laminating Excel sheets. So, I mean, bro, the community knows, dude. They can see right through everyone's BS. They can see right
I
through
have
it.
like an Excel blow up doll and just sleep with it.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
that's what it is.
No, no, you're clipped. You're done.
Yeah.
You're canceled.
Kids. Yeah, but no, I think that's a good point. That I think it's a great point you bring up, and it's interesting because I I never really considered that there were creators out there who, which I guess for me I just never thought like that, that there were out there, and you're saying that that part of a part of a content creator's view and vision is, well, okay, I'm doing content, I'm starting out, okay, I'm getting a little bit of traction here, it's getting up there, but now if it doesn't get to the next level, I'm just going to go dip and try another game out.
Yeah.
It I don't know. It just I guess I can understand it, especially if they're, maybe like wave chasing in a sense, like they're trying to kind of chase the views, chase the money, chase whatever game might be trending. Again, I know some people will do that, at least on the streaming side, especially if they play a particular genre, they're trying to play whatever the hottest thing is out there. Kingdom builders, I think, are a little bit different. Like I feel like you just kind of have to enjoy the sludge in a sense because it's a niche game, it's a niche genre.
One way
So,
to put it.
and yeah, it just, it's not like, this thing, man, like I've done a lot of research on kingdom builder content creators, and by far, Chisgle's the biggest one. There's like Worthy
Yeah.
Prince who does Lords Mobile. There's gosh, I mean, yeah, again, even on the Rock, like Rock probably has the biggest overall content creators. Right back when Shinchi was doing it,
They have
Dragothian.
so many
Yeah.
creators. It's crazy, bro.
Omni's still doing stuff over there. Again, right there. But you look at Rock. I mean, if you're looking at like the most successful content creator space for a kingdom builder, it has been Rise of Kingdoms for the last healthy number of years.
Oh
And
yeah.
there really hasn't been a game. Lords Mobile was probably the only one before that that just has way more downloads than it. And the biggest guy there, Worthy Prince, I mean, he gets decent views, but not as consistently good from what I have at least looked at from the period I did when it comes to people like a Chizgul, Once Upon a Time a Shinshi, Omni, etc. So it's, I think for me, I guess I just never viewed it like that. Like, and again, maybe that's just because of how I came into it. And I just kind of always viewed it as like, hey, this is just a nice little side thing to do on the side. But I love doing it. And I love the type of content that I put out. And clearly there's a need for it. There's a niche here. And it's something that, so I guess overall, where I'm trying to say is, I guess I never really, like I said, I guess I just overall never viewed it like that. So it's very interesting to hear you say that, to say that you were aware of people that kind of looked at it like that and, just kind of dipped off as quickly as they did.
Yeah, because I mean, especially, I find it interesting because I talk to other buddies that are content creators for like Call of Duty or even like Battlefield, like other communities like that, and it's just like being a content creator for CallofDragons or kingdom builders in general. Like, dude, you have to spend like you don't have to, right? But it does definitely help your channel out when you're just spending a bunch of money in the game. So when like if you're spending a bunch of money in the game, then you sprinkle like going out of your means, spending way more than you should have because you thought you had to spend so much money, which is not true. It's kind of like a fallacy, I feel like, when it comes to kingdom building. I mean, look at Just Kill Him, for example. I feel like his channel is pretty successful. I mean, I've told him before he needs to post more, stop slacking.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
I mean, he's a free to play player, dude, and
He
he
ain't,
creates
he
great
ain't just killing,
content.
he's just dying. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah,
struggling. You know what I mean? Like you need to be
like my man, it's like I enjoy his content. So it's
yeah.
like other people feel like, oh, I can't do content because I'm not spending enough. It's like, nah, bro. I mean, it depends on
Yeah.
what your aim is.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if anything, I should be exhibit A just for
Yeah.
doing
I mean,
content. And
dude,
I don't really play. I should
bro,
say play an active account just to be clear. But
dude. Let me tell you something, bro. I don't know if you know this, but every once in a while in my chat,
yeah.
people give you heat because you don't play the game.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And one of the things I'm
Well, I
like,
don't
dude,
currently play. Used to actively
right.
play, but don't currently play. Yes.
And what I tell people, I'm like, look, if there's anyone that has passion in the community, it's freaking BN. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand like the mindset of a content creator on a day-to-day basis. Like for me, as someone who grinds the hell out of the game, PvP wise and everything else, like the content is abundant. You know what I mean? Like every day, like I could pick something. Whereas for you, you're niche within the niche. Like so like you gotta get extra creative
Yeah.
with the type of content you make. And I mean, everyone's different, but I can only imagine kind of like your own mental battles that you kind of go through as well as a creator. Like, what do I do today? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like, you've done a great job, especially any drama videos. Anytime there's drama or like you mention it, educational purposes, right? You just want to learn what's going on and why things happen. Everyone's like, "Where's BN? Get BN in here right now. Get him on the mic." But
It's
but
so
yeah,
yeah. No, it's so funny you say that because every once in a while I'll see people that they'll just ping me or I'll just see people chatting on COD Discord and they'll say something like that. They're like, "Yo, where's BN? Ping him right now. Let him know what's going on." Just- but you're right in the sense of, for me and anyone who knows, like if I cover anything that is news related, drama-ish related, right? If you want to consider it that, anything that I do, you're never going to see me just like, put something out just because it's drama or because it's like I'm just going to, gossip, right? That's probably a better word to use. Like you're never just going to see me put something out drama related just for the gossip portion of it. Like I always like to feel that there's a learning experience from it. Like we can take something away from it. So for me at least, that's kind of my spin. on if I'm going to cover something like this, which clearly people enjoy watching. I don't want it just to be like some toxic drama gossip approach to it. I want it to be something where it's like, okay, let's like really figure out what's going on here, and then let's see what we can take away from it. Like, I think a great example was, well, I mean, again, if I'm talking recently, I'll say this: I shockingly wasn't expecting the TFS video that I just put out to do as well as it did. And all I really talked about was like just people leaving. And I just kind of gave my thoughts, here and there on things, which I said in the video. It's not like it's a unique thing. People leave kingdoms all the time and groups leave kingdoms for any number of reasons. But, I felt like I kind of gave my own approach and my own thoughts and my own opinions on it. And yeah, I mean, I thought it did okay. Now, I don't necessarily dive into the comments as much as I used to, so I can only imagine what's going on there. Um, but yeah, and then on the video I put out today with we were talking about that before with Fluffy on the interview, and again, he had some things to share.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I guess to your point, that's kind of my approach, is trying to look at it more from, how can I take a little bit more of a healthy, responsible-ish take on if I'm going to put something out like that. So, but that's funny though. I didn't know that your chat cared for me so much. It's very
Oh,
comforting.
they do. You definitely get mentioned from time to time in there. And with that being said, I have a lot of respect for everyone that continues doing content, and like me and you have mentioned and even PMs, like I mean, if we don't look out for each other, like or help each other out, like what are we supposed, like who else is gonna do it? Like more people are
Yeah.
just gonna quit and things like that. So
I mean, a lot of the OGs aren't here anymore. A lot of it is, I mean, there's some, but it's a lot more new people that probably started
yeah.
within the past year, maybe past 6 months, and they're growing or trying things out. And so I have a stat for you. I was stalking you vigorously, but
Oh,
platonically,
nice.
of course, because we got to keep it PG for the fam, unless we want to go a little farther. But so I got some stats here. So your first video that you ever put out on your channel was on December 5th of 2023. So this is what, a year and 8 months ago ish. And if I have that right, a year, no, not 8 months, a year. Yeah, I guess about a year and 8 months. And so but the title was, you said it was 1 million merits on the first day. I don't know if you recall this video.
Of course.
Yes. Okay. So again, right, you've been kind of doing things for a while now. Your first live stream you ever did was on April 19th of 2024. So this is about 4.5 months later. And
wow.
you did a live stream about Zeta, Magritte, your Destiny wheel. You did an artifact compendium pool. So it's just interesting that you did your first video then. About 4.5 months later, you decide, okay, I'm going to dip my toe into streaming.
There's a method to that.
Yeah. And then you did your first short, which was in between this. It was on February 1st, 2024. Do you know what your first short was that you did? Or I should say what may have been your first short.
No.
Okay, because it has to do with yours truly.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget that one? Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like, can I get a yeah? Sure. Oh, that was a good one. People still talk about that.
Yeah. And what's funny is I was reading through some of the comments, and I saw Abda commented on there, and I think he said something to the effect of, "This was the best $50 I've spent in my life." So,
oh yeah, that was a paid advertisement. That was.
So yeah, it was just funny. I was looking that up, and I was like, man, no way I was the first short, man. Like just but no, yeah. So it was good stuff. So let me again, I want to dive a little more in here onto like the content creator side for you. So
yeah.
when and I guess for those that may or may not know, can you give us kind of I guess a quickish or decent intro on what kingdom did you start in, kingdoms you've played, and alliances you've been a part of, kind of in order if you can recall.
Yeah, so I started in server 31. Apparently that was still considered like a beta. Like 32 was considered like the first one, but a bunch of us that started with like global, I was in 31. I started in a little alliance called Rios that ended up being kind of like a R4/R5. This is where actually it gets a little funny. Jason kind of got ran out of his other zone that he was at, so then he joined me in Rios. And then while he was in Rios, he then left us and went to SN, which was the opposing side. And then I ended up eventually going to SN, some internal drama with TH31. Oh, damn, we're going way back.
SN, that's was
Holy.
super naughty, right?
Yeah.
Or something. Okay.
Yep. And then after SN, it became DX. And then after DX, me and Jason had a little friendly bash, I guess you can say, where we didn't talk for like a whole 9 months. But anyways, I left DX. I left DX. I went to BX because I got blacklisted by Jason. Funny how the world kind of comes around in a circle. Anyways, I got blacklisted by Jason. I went. Me and my wife got blacklisted. We went to BXS.
Damn, even the wife.
Yes, bro. We all.
Oh my god, damn, yo, she took that collateral damage.
Yeah, dude, Jason set out a ping like, I don't want to see these guys in any of the shells. But anyways, we were in BXS was kind enough to give me and my wife a little home. And then I don't know if you remember at the time was migrating with like gems and stuff. So we missed the window because it was just like a freaking lottery trying to get into a server.
You mean the
like,
last 5K gem window?
Yeah.
Okay.
So was in BXS, and then after that, where the hell did I go? Oh, then I think we created our own alliance. Me and my buddy Saint, who no longer plays the game. We were called like ROS or TOS. That's when we faced pay to win and BDO when they Diplo won against us. Okay. And then after that,
shots fired 1.
Yeah. It's funny because Ruby was in TFS, right? And like we were in VC and I brought it up. I'm like, yeah, screw you, by the way, for that. but anyways, and then after that I went to
my man holding passionate grudges.
Dude, I mean I kinda been around, and then after that I went to pay to win. Yeah, I was been pay to win for 2 seasons. Then I went into Noir to 2 seasons. And then I've been in TFS ever since.
Yeah, so you've been in TFS 4 seasons, huh? 3, 4? Or 4, 5?
4. Yeah, I think 4 now.
Okay. So again, man, you've been around.
Yeah.
# you get around, and we all know what that means. So
I've experienced.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
It's one way to put it. But again, these are top alliances. These are top kingdoms you've had a chance to participate in and be a part of. So you've seen a couple different approaches on how probably the management side's done, on how RoW's done, on how the KVK prep is done. Where, for at least for your time, what were there any kingdoms or alliances that you felt really stood out to you on maybe something they did that you felt was like, man, this is kind of a unique approach for the time, or maybe they just did it like so well, so refined, and you just thought, man, this really stood out to me. Like this really gave me good impressions. And whether it's one alliance and kingdom or multiple, but do you have any moments like that you can recall?
Yeah, 100%. So like as soon as I joined Noir, and I had a talk with Sato to be in their RoW team too. Yeah, because at the time when I joined Noir, I was like ranked 140th in power, so I was just a little baby in the ranks,
Scrub.
Yeah, yeah. And then I pushed 30 million power. So what's up? But anyways,
I want to know all my scouts are 7.5K, but keep going.
Oh, okay, all right, fair. But yeah, so then I saw like the level of like commitment that he was putting into his RoW teams, not just RoW 1 to RoW 1, 2, and 3. Every single team was like down to the T. Like every single player had an assignment. No, not one of your marches was left to wander or kind of be aimless. Everything was accounted for. Even farming, even down to the T of like he had some people that were farming. Just very, very detailed. And at the time, even the R4s were like all very passionate, and I mean, when it's good, it's good. In CallofDragons,
touche.
Yeah. Obviously, when things go bad, it's a little different story, but that stood out for sure, Sato. But obviously, my last season there was completely different.
Yeah, we know how that ended.
Mhm.
But aside from that, though, uh, okay. So no, and again, I think it's, gosh, I could go. I mean, we could talk probably about roast stuff for a minute, but before we get there, so again, which is lovely to hear that, because I think one of the things that sometimes is misconstrued and can be is like you played somewhere for a little while, but you're not there anymore, even if you might have left for, let's just say, not all the best reasons, or maybe some of the circumstances weren't necessarily good while leaving, you can still take something good away from your experience there and what you learned or what you saw, friendships that you made, or even just kind of good takeaways in certain areas of the game. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to kind of hear someone who was there in the war, and which again, I'm sure other people probably had good experiences to it well at their own times and at their own points, depending on how long they were there for. So going a little forward now, you getting in and doing content. What was for you the biggest part of why you wanted to start doing content in the first place? Or was there anything even that you saw as kind of a void, a niche, an opportunity? Was there a trigger? Was there some kind of a spark? What was it that really got you motivated to finally be like, all right, man, I'm just going to hit record and put something out?
Yeah, so I actually, have a little bit of Call of Duty background to me of content creation since like 2015. I even did some Twitch live streams for Rise of Kingdoms. So the where I saw the opportunity was like I noticed that a lot of the people that creating content, they weren't like degen PvPers for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I want to say probably Shinchi in his early days was a pretty hardcore fighter in this game. I can't remember off the top of mind though, but I saw the opportunity there to just kind of like go in and really cover in the PvP side of things. And with me being a mage main and 90% of the community being a mage player, and me being early on with my pets, with high merit reports and everything like that, I'm like, dude, people would love it. But I had a decision to make because, after doing content for so long with Call of Duty and everything, I knew what level of energy it needed to take to be a content creator. So I'm like, okay, if I do this, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm just doing it for fun. I'm just posting one video. I'm like, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. We're going to do it right. Live streams, videos, regular videos,
Mhm.
the whole nine yards. So that's where I saw the opportunity, was just like the, like heavy degen PvP side, mage main kind of approach.
Gotcha. So basically, Guns has admitted that he's a one-trick pony. Said it here first. Clip
Not
that.
anymore.
Clip that.
I don't know if you've heard, dude.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wait. Heard what? What do I need to hear?
I mean, officially, Fluffy gave me my Cav main stamp
Okay.
from Fluffy Waffles
Oh, I see. Okay,
himself. So
I
I
see where
think,
you're going. I see
I
where you're going
think,
with
I
this.
think that makes it. I think that makes. At first, I was just a Cav enthusiast, and then
Yeah.
I just hit my 50 mil merits with Cavs.
You were
So,
following it.
and then
Oh my gosh, who's the guy? Who was like the really popular cab player? That I'm.
Pervy.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. You were.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like
Purvis was your
he's the
senpai.
he's the I'm not gonna lie, dude. He was kind of at first one of the guys that kind of like opened my eyes to like the possibility of being a Cav player,
Yeah.
and the reason for that is because I noticed that he was using a bunch of T4 Cavs. I'm like, huh? But once I started using the T4s and seeing that they're super cheap to resource heal, and then I started understanding some of the ways, and then from there it just kind of took off.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I remember he would post like his highlights for the KVKs on whenever he was just kind of going around and just pub stomping. I always thought it was a really interesting approach because there just wasn't a lot of people that were running around
Yep.
with up to 5 cab marches at that time. So it was kind of I'm sure he felt a lot more free then than now ish. So okay.
Oh, for sure.
So we get so you get to this point where you get in, you find this opportunity. And it's funny that you say that you get, or I guess for me maybe a little enlightening, because I've always thought to myself, like, man, what if I had everything? Like, what if I knew everything that I knew now, and I was able to kind of pump out content at the quality that I'd be pumping it out now, just kind of doing things that I am now, even even though I don't necessarily really do any edit stuff. But what if I was kind of able to already be at this stage, like the moment that Call of Dragons came out? And that's the funny thing, is kind of being like you said, right? For you have a Call of Duty background, you've already done live streaming, you kind of already have a setup, you kind of already have an idea on what to go in. So for you, it's more of like, all right, man, where's the next wave? That because I'm
Yep.
ready to go.
Yep.
And for me, that's why, like, for me, I laugh. I'll laugh at myself sometimes because I just was like, oh my god, like, damn, dude, like that could have been a moment where just kind of I feel like when you get to go into a new fresh game that comes out that you're super passionate about and you just kind of already have everything ready and you already know like this is the content that's going to hit. I know what I need to work on first over these first few weeks. Like that just has to be such a fulfilling sensation to be able to do something like that. So yeah, that's maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll be there, depending
Yeah,
on.
because it's like you mentioned, like even my it's funny you mentioned about my first video. That actually wasn't my first video. I had actually created 7 videos before that.
Oh,
But as a noob YouTuber, I was trying to delete one of them, and I accidentally deleted all of them.
oh my
I
gosh.
almost quit, bro. I almost quit YouTube right there. I was so devastated because I mean, I'm sure like you can remember like the first time you started putting out like YouTube videos, like it was a lot of hard work,
Hmm.
putting those first 2, 3 videos, like you're going through all kinds of mental roller coasters, I guess you can say. So, um, yeah, I almost quit after I deleted that first video. But like you mentioned, I mean, I saw it. I mean, there's a community, there's a demand for it. Like it was all there. And I mean, I literally like studied like days of videos of content creators. And one of the things that a lot of them say is that, starting in Call of Duty, Battlefield, Fortnite, a lot of these games are just so, how do you say it? I mean, there's just so many people doing it already
Yeah,
that it's very hard for like a smaller creator to grow. It's like so you got to find like a smaller community that has a need for the content and go from there. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean that's exactly how I saw it.
No, man, absolutely. Okay, so I want to get back on track here to the partner thing. So
Hmm.
you get notified, but I'm curious here. Was there a buildup? Was there any hints? Was there any indication or maybe early impression? Your spidey sense was tingling right above your outie belly button because I just don't believe you have an innie. What was what happened? Give me the build up. Give me the ladder climb up to if there was anything. Maybe there wasn't, but I'm curious.
Yeah, so I think like the last like 3 evaluations as you know for associates it's every 3 months.
Yeah.
So like for the previous like 6, 9 months, like they would tell me like, you're a strong candidate for partner. But one of the things that they always told me was like you need to work on like just basic editing. You know what I mean? So like I'm like, damn, dude. And I'm just like I never and they didn't go out of their way and tell me that, right? I would always
Yeah.
do it myself. Like, what do I need to do? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and then that's one of the things they told me. So, I started doing like, some basic editing stuff, got the intro, outro, my YouTube shorts. I started like, actually getting in there and doing the editing stuff. So as soon as I started doing that and I was doing that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting my editing stuff down, like, very basic stuff. Like what can they tell me now? Like that's what they told me I was missing. So at that point, I knew I was getting close,
Okay.
and I just had to, like I said before, just focus on enjoying the game and not focusing on partner too much because that's where it all goes downhill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but again, that's I guess nice of them that they were willing to respond and say like, "Hey, these are some of those areas of opportunities." Because I can tell you right now, man, I used to do a lot of editing back when I was like messing around with like Sony Vegas stuff, and I used to enjoy doing editing, even if it was kind of more so at an intermediate, but kind of smaller level, if you will. And I just remember telling myself once I really started doing content. when I started in Rock, kind of redoing it again, and I started in Rock, then eventually over Infinity Kingdom. I just told myself, I was like, dude, F that. I'm good, man. One take, all day, day. That's just my style. But I did my whole thing was, for me, I just felt like I just didn't have the time. Like I would rather invest that time into research, into again, if I need to go and do like the data, all the data stuff that I do, if I need to go in and do like an investigation, if I need to go talk to people, if I need to go and make scouts, if I need to go, whatever it may be. And I always told myself, like, okay, if I get big enough, if I'm making enough money, then I'll just pay an editor, right? I'll pay someone or do some kind of a deal or whatnot, right?
So
To do
expensive, bro.
exactly. And so it's like, it's really
Because I looked into that.
exactly, and and I've talked to some people, and some of the rates are okay, but it's still, it wouldn't make sense, right? Unless you're making a certain amount of money. It's almost kind
Yeah.
of like, you hitting a certain tier level, and then it's like, okay, now this kind of opens up for you, right? Now here's this opportunity where all that work you're putting in can now be, right? This area can kind of be delegated out to someone else. And so that was kind of always my thought going into it. But that's nice to hear that that was like your buildup, that you took the initiative, you asked, they told you, and they said, yeah, you just need to do these things. And then, you'll basically be good to go. So, okay. So from there, you get the notification. I'm curious on this one, where, because I want to kind of transition maybe a little bit to family here.
Yeah.
And I say that because, you and I have talked, and we kind of have like different situations, if you will. But your situation, I've always really appreciated, because for me, on the outside looking in, from what I briefly know, and from what I know you've mentioned a couple times, it has always felt that your wife has been incredibly supportive of what you've done and what you've been doing and what it feels like you've been aiming and hoping to accomplish. Can you walk me through a little bit of how that support has played a role from when you started up until where you are now?
Bro. Man, you dug in deep here. And I'll say this,
That's what I
like,
do, boo boo.
and dude, what's crazy about that is, like, in a weird, so I met my wife when I was 15,
Okay.
and I think she was 16, so a very long time ago, like
Okay.
17 years ago
Baller
now.
dating up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 25 years old, 7th anniversary,
Yeah.
but I'm on forever 25. But what's crazy is, like, one of the things I always told myself, even at a young age, was like, I'm gonna get with a girl that supports my passion of gaming. And if she doesn't support my passion of gaming, I just love gaming that much
Yep.
that even at a young age, I'm like, if she doesn't support my passion, I just can't be with her. And even from early on, bro, like, I used to play FIFA, like, heavy FIFA. She'd come over and I would just still be sitting there playing FIFA.
Damn, dude, getting your Castro on. Isn't he like a big FIFA streamer? I think Castro.
Castro was like, I don't think he really does it anymore, bro. I was
But he
actually
used to.
curious
He used
about
to be
that.
like the number one
No,
FIFA guy.
that was my guy right there. I
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I studied him a lot. But anyways, yeah, that's a whole another like 30 minutes of freaking. But yeah, so early on, she just showed signs of supporting my passion, and even like through Call of Duty, when like I'm not even kidding about this, I would stream to 2 or 3 viewers for 2 years in a row. She was one of those viewers. She would always still support me.
And just
But I
for
think
context, how long would you
huh,
stream for? Like when you were doing it for that long back
oh
then?
my god, dude.
Like on an
Long
average day or something?
Longer than CallofDragons, bro.
What?
Longer. I would stream like 12, 14 hours a day on Call of Duty
To just a
to like,
handful of viewers.
yes, to like, yeah, like 3, 4, 5. Once I hit year 3, I was at like 20. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like not a very active chat. Year 2 was when I started going delusional, or I started practicing what like one of the top advices was like, pretend like you have an audience, because one day you're gonna have an audience and you're not just gonna have the skill to talk to people. So pretend. So like I would literally talk to the screen, bro. My wife would be like, "Who are you talking to?" Because she was in the chat. There's no one there. I'm just talking.
she texts you, babe, it's just me. You don't have to pretend anymore.
Dude. And I would explain, I'm like, I'm just like, working on the skill of yapping, just talking a lot. I mean, and like, full circle, like, I mean, it paid off.
Yeah. No, man, absolutely.
So,
And so how, and the other aspect of this though as well is that not only is she supportive, but she interacts and engages and she plays herself. Was
Yeah.
this something that you? Because again, I don't know what it was like when you guys first started playing COD. Did you guys both start together? Did you start and then eventually
Mhm.
she got into it and then she just kind of grew? It just grew on her.
Yeah, so we're both global launch players. It's funny. I think she actually was in a I think she was in like server like 36 or something like that.
Oh,
But yeah, but
with the FSK
eventually
guys. Interesting.
I can't remember if it was
Okay.
exactly that one or not, but eventually she just left that server and just came over to where I was at.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then the thing with her is like she doesn't like she like hates like all the little extra things. She just wants to log on and fight. That's her. So like it's funny because she's been playing the game for so long, but like she doesn't really know that much of like what skills, like what talents, like all that stuff. She just wants to log on and just fight. So yeah, she actually like I mean even like during Dragon, like she asked for days off for like Dragon openings and stuff like that.
Damn.
Yeah,
That
she's
is,
committed, bro.
dude. That is so
And like
awesome.
she'll sit there in the chat and stuff, and she really likes playing the role of a toxic Latina. I'll tell you that. Eh, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
ay, Dios mío.
good.
Whew. Jeez, that's dude. That is, dude. You know what you should do? I'm gonna give you a content idea right now. Is whenever she's like, if she's just going, like, you should just record her like when the fight's happening or if like chat's exploding or something, and just like record like her reaction of her talking and just like lean into the toxic Latina thing, like just for that moment. That would be.
Pretty funny. That'd
Oh,
be a good YouTube
I'm gonna
short.
be honest. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, right. I would watch that. Yeah, yeah. Especially if it was like she came over to you and she was just like talking a bunch of shit, but she's like not talking the shit to you. She's talking about like what's on the screen or what's happening, and then like she invaded the street. Just yeah, no, that actually could be funny. Um. Anyways, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it comes to life. If it does, you can just
It it,
send me
it
my check.
definitely it's gonna happen because all I gotta do is clip it and title it "Toxic Latina Plays Call of Dragons."
Oh gosh, man,
So
that's But okay, but so like you get into, you go from having just generally a supportive household when it comes to what you're doing, and I imagine that at some point, given where you're at now, has there been any thought on, because again, I've noticed when you've played like some Warzone or you've played some Battlefield. I think I saw you put a short out for something like that. Has there been any thought? Because my whole thing is this, right? Like I remember watching back when I was playing Rock, right? People like Gecko and Chiz and Shinshi, Dragothian, etc. Right? Even Roni back in the day. I think a couple times when he was doing content, and I always thought to myself, you know, and this is just me, but I
mm,
always thought to myself, like someone like a Chizgul as an example, it almost feels like missed some opportunities. And I say missed opportunities from the perspective of he's just been doing rock for so long. It just doesn't really feel like he has maybe branched out to other titles or other games when there was opportunities for like that he could have. Now he has done some stuff early on with like promos and going and doing like 10 videos for this game that just came out, etc. But I guess for me it just always kind of seemed like that there wasn't, I guess, a heavier investment into maybe something else. But then again, maybe there just really wasn't anything that kind of came across, because I think for him, it was also doing stuff kind of within the Kingdom Builder space outside of maybe any other genres of stuff he's done. But I'm curious for you, has that been a conversation, whether you've had with the lady or something that you've considered when it comes to like, okay, what else can I be doing? Because this is great for what's happening now, but what else can I do to expand my brand, to gain better viewership, to get more subs, to maybe grow the live stream? Has there been any consideration for that as far as the future slash what's next, aka expansion?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think about that all the time because the reality is like I love Call of Dragons, but as creators, you can't just essentially like put all your eggs in one basket and like expect the game to live forever, right? I feel like that's kind of like an unrealistic expectation of games because eventually all games kind of like die out, at least most games. Hopefully that doesn't happen, right? I can always be hopeful, but so things that I've thought about is potentially branching out to like other games of my passion because like I cannot play other games that I'm just not passionate about, right? Like one key thing that I keep talking about is like you gotta have passion for it, and for me it's shooters. But kingdom builders make that very difficult because kingdom building communities are very niche, bro.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people within the kingdom builder space don't got that gunny, bro. Let me tell you. I do community days with a lot of my Call of Dragons people. And ain't nobody shooting their guns. So, so damn, if you're commenting like, damn, Guns just called out the whole community
Yep.
can't shoot their gun.
Only thing
But
they shooting is that credit card transaction. Ayo.
bro, it's funny. I play with Jason on Warzone and
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, hey Jay, I don't know if you saw the store, dude. There's a few bundles there for $1,000 for extra aim assist, so you can hit your damn shots. he's like, I swear to God, I'll buy that shit right now. But anyways, reeling back to your question, yeah, I mean, I recently posted a Battlefield 6 short, and it did good. It had 3,000 views. I'm like, maybe, I have thought about doing like community Sundays and Saturdays, especially when it's like non-war, um, just to kind of do other games as well. Um, One of the things that I feel like has been helping me out a lot is my live streaming, right? Because at the live streaming, you're connecting with the content creator at a personal level. Um, it's not just, oh, he does Call of Dragons and I like his content. It's like this guy's actually pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like you actually start building relationships with people. The a core thing of my content creation is creating friendships, right? So for me, that's why live streaming is so critical for my channel because not only am I creating content, I focus on creating that friendship with each individual chatter. I do my best to answer every single PM, all my comments, every single comments gets answered. So like, that's kind of my plan. BN going forward is just continue growing my community at the core level of like actual friendship. But I definitely need to start stepping it up, posting either YouTube Shorts or doing a live stream on like Sundays and Saturdays. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. I've even thought about potentially making another channel, but I'm at that initial hump that every content creator faces, right? Anytime anyone tries to branch out, you put out that video and you get a hot 30 views in Call of Duty. And
Spicy.
that I think is the most depressing thing, bro.
No.
When you're like, all right, I'm finally gonna take the step because I do have a Call of Duty page actually. and yeah, I mean 40, 50 views, like it just kills them around. But
You know what I was
those
thinking?
games are just so saturated, man.
The point that you just brought up, I've been thinking about this for a while. Like there's two features that I almost wish YouTube had. One, I wish that you could purge. You know how you could like purge inactive people on your Discord servers that just haven't been there for a while? I wish you could purge inactive subscribers. So like people that, just haven't watched a video for you in like 6, 12 months or whatever, right? You could like select how you want to do it. Cause I just feel like it would be such a better accurate indicator based on, views and things like that. And you don't potentially have, things that are going out that might be messing around with your impressions or whatnot, or might lower, your recommendeds for any reason. But the second thing, and you might like this, the second idea I had was, what if they allowed for you to set unique notifications per game, and then the subscribers could choose which notifications they want to actually have enabled or toggled on or not. So like, let's say you're a channel that plays multiple games. You could have a Call of Duty notification that a subscriber could sign up to get notifications for. You could have a Call of Dragons. You could have a World of Warcraft. And this way, when you're putting out content, it makes it easier. So this way, now you don't necessarily have to have. And then the content you're putting out doesn't really impact, because you're right. It's like if you're leaving that box checked, right? That notifies all your subscribers and puts stuff out to their feed. It probably makes it difficult if you're mostly or dominantly doing one game, but then you kind of want to test the waters and you put something out there. And like you said, you know, you get the super hot and spicy big 31.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, I've thought about it recently. I'm like, I wonder if I post another video of like something else, but like, listen, like, and I'm sure you've probably heard it before. Like, there's some people in my chat that are like, Gunz, we're here for you and stuff like that. And it's like yes and no. It's a mixture. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're here because you vibe with me, but you also love Call of Dragons. So that's what ultimately brings that tie together.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, there's some people that even last in my live streams 13 hours straight, dude, with me the entire time. And it's just a mixture of both, you know, and that's just the reality of things. I mean, even for me and like personally, like I've had other content creators that I love watching, but as soon as they play other games, I'm not interested. And it's like, yeah, you know, I like them, but I can't just sit there and watch a game I don't care about. You know, it's just the reality of things. But yeah, I mean, the whole branching out thing is very challenging, bro, and it's very dangerous too at the same time.
Yo, so I got a story to tell you.
I've seen other people's channels just kind of fade away in that road.
Yeah.
Scary, man.
I'll tell you my experience, right? So I did like a hard transition when I was starting out, and I started doing some rock content towards the end of my time in rock, and I went over to Infinity Kingdom, like right when that came out, and I got into Kingdom 4, which was still beta because global release was on Kingdom 9. I started playing Infinity Kingdom. I was doing content with them for about two years. Eventually, the game started. Like this is one of the worst things for me. You might understand where I'm coming from. The way they had their KVK set up was that the first pass that opened was a cross zone 1 pass. Hear me out on this. Okay. Cross starting zone 1. So you could basically invade everyone's starting zone in the KVK, and you could kill everyone off, and the KVK could be done before zone 2 gets there. Just the absolute worst design ever, right? And so the moment that came out, and then a few updates after that, and there was just no change, nothing. And I mean, I'm talking like there was community feedback up the wazoo on this. I decided, because people were leaving, people were quitting at that point, and I thought, okay, well, this is a good time to maybe try and find something else. Right around that time, I got a Facebook ad for CallofDragons, and I basically did a hard pivot over at that time. And I was the very first content creator for Infinity Kingdom at the time that had got signed on, and I had been there the longest up until that point. When I did a hard
you were an associate with them.
Sorry?
You were an associate with them.
I guess kind of, yeah. I guess they kind of did things differently than how COD does, but it was kind of like that. And so I did this hard pivot, and when I came over to COD, it took a couple videos and maybe a couple weeks, but I started getting people that came over with me, like a decent amount of people that came over with me. Even as an example, an alliance like BXS, these guys were playing Infinity Kingdom. There was a number of top alliances and top players that came over from Infinity Kingdom to CallofDragons that I had brought over, and then other people that just found the game by happenstance and came over. But I knew quite a few amount of people, like Slore from BXS, ATL. I knew them. Like, we knew each other back when we were playing Infinity Kingdom. Jezstar, Blink, who still plays, right? I think he's in Echo now. And people hear me, I talk about Blink, like the epicness of
monster
Blink.
Players. Oh, bro. My God. Monster players that you're naming.
and I knew these guys, and I would cover them in Infinity Kingdom when I played. And so there was just a decent amount. So, and maybe my situation is a little bit different, but I just remember when I did that transition, I was maybe a little fortunate because I did have a decent amount of the audience that followed me over to CallofDragons. But I think you're absolutely right. Regardless, is that, you know, it doesn't always happen that way, and you kind of have to be. You either, the way I kind of view it is like this: if you're going to make a transition over to a new game, unless that game just has like so much raw potential and so much raw, like just like really good replayability, it just has that kind of it factor that people will gravitate towards it, and you can kind of build the momentum off of that. You probably have to just be doing some kind of content that, again, is niche in a regard. It has to just be something that people really want to watch. No one else is really doing it, and it just gives you an opportunity right at that point. But No, but again, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I just think, for me, I know in my situation it was a little scary doing it because for me, I think like anyone, you probably think, well, all right, man, worst case, I basically have to start over.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, for me, the game that I do have planned to try to get into, that's gonna be GTA 6 because I feel like
Oh yeah,
everyone
everyone
plays GTA 6.
and
So
their
it's
mom.
like, yeah, and the cat is getting it in too with the little thug glasses and everything. So
Yep.
like, yeah, that might be one of my only opportunities, dude. Even
Yeah,
live streaming,
I know,
playing GTA
absolutely,
6.
dude. I remember I've played every GTA except for the last one, except for 5. And man, I remember, dude, damn, God, playing, man. For me, it was Vice City back on what was it, PS2?
Oh
Oh
yes,
my
dude.
gosh, just classics, man, classics. But yeah, no, I think you're right on that. I think whenever that comes out, you might see a streamer boom on that one. Like some careers might
Yeah.
be made, kind of like the Fortnite boom, in a sense.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Oh, last thing I do want to touch on. Don't give me that with your eyes. I have ideas. I have thoughts. They can they can
Yeah. Oh.
they can arise. So I want to talk to you about RoW because we were talking about RoW and RoW League, and apparently you have took the plunge, as it were, to basically become the head honcho, the head El Jefe for your RoW team there in TFS. And I'm curious,
You're killing BN. Give it to me.
what I'm curious again because we know again as we all know, right, there has been a departure. So but I want to know
Mhm.
how did this come about for you truly, because we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but truly, how did this come about when you decided, all right, man, I'm going to put my name in the hat to run this? Because I just think that it opens up, and I was saying this, I think it opens up some good opportunities for you on the content side, and then also just on hopefully allowing for maybe generating some popularity in RoW that, let's just be honest, it desperately needs.
Oh, big time for sure. Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, like I said, I watched your Fluffy interview. I mean, he said it straight up, like that one of the main reasons he left was because of the road team. So, and then I had conversations with Jason in the past, like, bro, like we need to work on our road team. It's the future of the popularity of each alliance. Because I mean, I'm willing to put money on it. And mark my words, bro. Any top kingdoms whose road team doesn't at least break that top 6, top 4, they're not going to be a top kingdom anymore. Straight up, like that's just. I mean, I saw it happen in Rock,
Mhm.
and it'll happen here as well. So, and I really love the core community here in TFS. Like we play a bunch of other games even outside of CallofDragons, and I don't want to go anywhere. So I am like, well, I gotta be the one to step up to make that happen. Like right now, I've been spending like 4 or 5 hours every single day, and I'm not even kidding when I say every single day on just Roots of War planning, looking at player stats and everything, like just getting real creative. We did lose a few of our big Cav players, Fluffy being one of them, obviously. So like, I gotta get real creative, like how I go about building the team, and then after that, building that team 2 and 3, all inspired by how Noir used to run their team.
No.
Because, right, like when you play Roots of War, whether you're team 2 or 3, like the tag is TFS, the tag is, Echo, the tag is EIS. You are representing an identity. So every single team needs to be taken serious. Like, because we did have like our team 2 and 3 that was like, oh, this one's just like kind of more for funsies. Like, just sign up and you just go. And it's like, nah, if I'm in charge of row, like we're not doing that. If you want to do that, go do that in a farm alliance or something without the TFS tag.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's got to be SFT.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's why I took on that role because it is the future of the game, bro. So, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been nerding out, dude. I love it. I love it.
Getting a little bit of that Sato rub off on you for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of my planning uh is a lot of it based on some of his original plans.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome, man. I mean, and like I
yeah.
said, I think, and we were talking about this where I was telling you, and I've said this before as well. I wish that they had VODs, right? I wish they had a
Mm,
library. I wish they had some, even if it was just like one match for each time slot that they highlighted, like just one match they showed us that they let you go and watch, and they gave creators opportunities to cover it. Because I can tell you right now, I would love to cast matches. I'd love to go and commentate on matches. And for me, it also would just be a good learning opportunity. It gives me more of a reason to dive in, to ask questions, to educate myself, and to hopefully bring a side of commentary to RoW matches that, again, it could use to hopefully boost some of that. And I think, again, you getting into it and now having a little bit more of a direct relation on that, where it's now you taking on a firsthand role, or I guess in this case, right, more of a management role for RoW, especially with the fact that the inaugural season is coming out. What I'm curious for you, what are your, just generally speaking, are like, is there a level of hype right now? Is there like a level of like you are ecstatic for this first inaugural season of RoW League, or is it more of like, man, they've been dangling this carrot in front of us for a year. Finally, it's out. Let's just play. No expectations, nothing like that. Or is it? Because again, I mean, you said like this could be the future. So to me, it feels like you're holding RoW League in a higher regard than maybe some other people might be.
yeah. I think the reason why I'm holding it at such a high regard is because I've been there in Rise of Kingdoms when Osiris League became a thing, and it literally flipped the game on its head when it came to like where players were interested in moving and everything like that. So, as far as like the hype, I'm hyped about it, but I'm concerned because the community is not hyped about it because the general consensus right now is, oh, I'm not a Kraken, I'm not a whale, why should I even compete in it? Right? So they feel a lot of players feel like, why compete in it? For me personally, I don't like that mentality, BN, because I've always been the kind of person that I don't care if someone has all the advantages in the world or, they have more opportunities. It doesn't mean I'm not going to try. It's just not in my nature. Whether I was a low spend, mid spend, I would still be like, all right, let's do this. Let's see how good we could possibly do. Um, and I think that's probably why, a lot of people don't really have a lot of hype around it. The other thing too that you mentioned was like just like the opportunity, right? I mean, it's right there. History repeats itself, bro, and it's coming for Call of Dragons. So if people, don't start locking in and figuring it out, they'll see.
I mean, listen, if it's any indicator to your foreshadowing, I feel like it's already been there a bit and probably will be more because we're seeing arguably the most amount of migration movement this season
Yep.
that we have seen probably since the last 5K gem migration. I
Yep.
mean, and obviously, there's a number of reasons for that with the refunds, the changes that they made to the permits, and the last update they made to permits probably has been the biggest and most significant one that has really helped out a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that came about, to be honest. I mean, that's going to allow a lot of players to move around where they actually want to be and not feel stuck anywhere. So, and I've already heard some players coming back because, like, oh, I can migrate now.
Oh,
So,
dude, that's such a good point for some of the
yeah.
big accounts. Are like, man, I can move now, and compared to where,
Yep.
wow, that's interesting. I didn't actually think about that line.
Hmm.
Wow.
I've talked to a few people and like, yeah, I just came back and I checked their account, like trying to like give them little tips, like, oh, they're a member of my channel or whatever. And I'm like, they're 170 mil. Like, what? Like, you stopped playing how long? Like a year, bruh. You're stronger than my main account. Welcome back. It's because some people just, after a while, they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna, spend that much money more in the game. So,
Yeah, no, man, absolutely. Well, Gunzer size me. I think I think we're getting close here. So let me first and foremost, or I guess maybe before we get there, before we get to my closing remarks that I'm going to give you as I score this interview, because it's a new thing that I'm doing only with you. I want to hear any shout outs declarations, shots you would like to fire, people you would like to dig graves for.
You know what's crazy? Each question you said is like something came to mind.
Okay.
Well,
I'll take one
I
of
will
each in
say
that
this.
case. Don't threaten me with a good time now.
Well, the shout out I do want to say is, I appreciate like everyone that supported me in the journey. To even include you, being, I mean, you were one of the first people that I watched as well, and just seeing the consistency and that motivates other creators to also stay consistent. You kind of set a standard amongst each other, whether you know it or not. So yeah, big shout out to the community for supporting just content creators in general, guys. I mean, you guys heard like between even the conversation between me and BN right now. I mean, we feed off you guys, man. You guys keep us alive, so I appreciate all the support.
Okay. Declaration.
Declaration?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna hold me to it, aren't you?
Declaration. Yep. It could be a statement, something you want to come to existence, something that will come to existence.
Let's see.
You're gonna shave the other eyebrow. I mean, whatever you're feeling.
Oh, I think that this is gonna be kind of for some of my mage mains that are about to cry. I think as the game goes on, I'm just gonna become a tank main. So I mean, there it is. I'm gonna be a tank main.
Okay. Is that argued to be the easiest job amongst troop types, or no?
That is the most difficult
Okay.
and the most priciest.
Okay. Okay. I only say because I've heard some people that are like, oh man, and they're probably just making comments and saying what they will. But I've heard some people that are like, oh yeah, it's so easy just to keep throwing out these inf balls and just refilling all day. All you gotta do is just throw it into the mosh pit, so to speak. And I've seen people make comments like that.
You know what's funny about that, BN? For me being like one of my specific roles whenever I do war leading is the blink team.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to it, man. It requires such a higher level of IQ and understanding the flow of the field. So when people make that comment, it shows that they don't really know what it's like. Because there's different roles, right? Kraken, sure, Kraken slam. But other tank players like myself that are a little bit more on the mid to high, like, yeah, you got to be very choosy how you use your tanks.
Yeah. And I was talking to someone about this too as well. And I was like, man, the blink inf to me kind of reminds me of like me playing League of Legends and like hitting teleports, like basically when someone's running away and you basically TP behind them so you can slow them down so your DPS can catch up and then do damage. And they were like, yeah, boss, it's like basically like that. I was like, oh, look at that. I made a connection. Okay. Shot you would like to fire.
Shot I would like to fire. Shot I would like to fire.
I mean, if one's not enough, you can do two. I'm not going to stop you.
See, for those TFS members that went A2G, I can't wait to face you guys in RoW and slam you guys. So it's gonna happen.
Okay, you'll be able to see my face reaction when you watch the video. Okay, and then last, who do you want to dig a grave for?
Ooh, dig a grave for. That one's pretty intense. And I don't mean this literally, like I want to kill them, but Fluffy, you dug a grave to our relationship by leaving to EIS. I still love you, but our relationship is currently 6 feet under.
I'm gonna be honest. That was
still love you though.
That was a better answer than I thought you were gonna come
I
up with.
still love you though. That was such a sad one for me, bro. Oh my god, I love sharing the field with that guy, dude. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, man.
But
yeah.
It's currently in the grave, dude. Sad times.
Well, maybe he'll fertilize the soil and then you guys will rekindle at a later time. in the afterlife. All right, Gunz. I obviously I'm going to give my closing remarks. I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much as always, man. I appreciate you coming on and allowing us some time to sit down with you. And again, I think just the fact that you have persevered as much as you have from when you started putting out content to get to where you are now. I mean, you are basically the exhibit A on grinding, putting in that work, and thankfully not faking it until you made it. And
yeah, it's true.
And the fact is that you did. You did make it. And I think that in and of itself does allow, and I think it's a lot bigger than you just making it, because to me it also shows, and this is something you had said previously, is that it shows that the possibility is there, right? You
Yeah.
don't have to start out and be, the Chisgul size or how big Hulkston is, right? As far as subscribers, etc. You can organically grow in more of a grassroots way from someone that just started out of the game. And again, right, people like Chiz and others who played Rock, right? There's obviously other partners there, but just showing that COD allows for creators to get to that point. Again, my hat, and I think our hats are off to you for kind of showing us the way that you are the captain now. So
From zero to partner.
That's
from
right.
zero to partner.
That's right. And so yeah, man. It's like I said, I appreciate it. And again, it's always a pleasure sitting down and talking to you. And I thought this was a really good conversation of being able to dive in a little bit more onto that nitty gritty, if you will, and just being able to kind of peel back a little bit more of who is Gunz, why is Gunz, how is Gunz, Gunz's feelings, basically just everything Gunz related. It was a pleasure. Yeah, I'll just say that. But yeah.
Likewise, bro. Appreciate you having me.
And that's it. All right, fam. That is it for us. Oh, I have to ask you, because I'm starting to do this now, is your face is so great. So I'm starting to ask people now that I sit down with, who should I interview next and why?
Who should you interview next? I think Sod. Good luck with that, though.
I should interview Sod next. Why should I interview Sod next?
Sod is just such a mysterious guy. He's just very quiet, never talks to anybody. I personally have never reached out to him for an interview.
Okay.
But I think he would be a great person, bro. Because it's like what is he doing over there in Echo to continue for them to continue to be at the top? Regardless of KVKs that they've had where they just rolled everyone and farmed the rest of the season, like he's still managing to keep his players around and everything. So he's definitely doing something right. So that'd be cool for other officers and R5s to kind of listen to. And Sod, if you made it this far in the video, or someone clips it and sends it to you, hey, maybe if you do that, maybe you actually have some competition, just maybe.
Damn. I'll be sure to ask him about his shawarma as well. Thank you.
Oh my God, the shawarma.
Well, all right, man. Fam, this is, again, myself and Gunz tuning out. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And as always, until next time, we'll catch you later.